Hello and welcome to episode 3 of my week on Twitter. Now, it's going to be a bit of a shorter one this week because I've been off doing other things. Yes, that does actually happen. Went out taking photos such as this one, and I have actually spent the weekend in Sydney, the harbour city. Here's a photo I took of the skyline from Darling Harbour, and a shot here of Collingwood player Jamie Elliott having a shot for goal, and a shot here of Jesse White kicking it into our forward line. So yes, went up with my girlfriend and children to go and see Collingwood playing in the AFL, and they had a win, which was fantastic, and we are all happy about that. So, let me get into it. And first of all, I encountered this guy, and he just comes across as a weirdo, and not the good kind of weirdo, the weird kind of weirdo. And I don't really know what his deal was, but he was an idiot. And it's really one of the things on Twitter that I guess don't detract from it, but it makes you wonder why people bother. So, yeah, this is sort of how my week started, kind of dealing with this idiot and the things that he had to say. So we had quite a bit of back and forth, and eventually I just said to him, I'm open to hearing from anyone with a valuable contribution to make, even if it's differing. Simple point is you don't qualify. And then he said, you lot of pathetic bullies and cowards, and ended up saying to someone else, I'm the one being bullied, you moron. So I'm not sure if he's just a troll under the bridge type guy, but yeah, just an example of one of the idiots that we get to deal with on Twitter when we talk to many and varied people. And I just wanted to highlight this tweet here from Jill Singer, who's a journalist in Australia, and just because it's sadly accurate that welcome to Oz, where the Minister for Indigenous Affairs is white, the Minister for Women is a man, and the Minister for Science doesn't exist. It's a sad state of affairs that we've found ourselves under with the current conservative government that we have, and one can only hope that they will be a one-term government and they are booted as soon as possible. Okay, blogs, one of my regular weekly features. I've got Scholar Mrs. V here, a new blog, The Unnatural Spread of Religion. I'll have the link to that in the notes for this episode. Really good read. Get on it. A new post from non-prophetess Reasonable Faith. I'm really liking what she's doing with her blogs, and this is probably my favourite so far. I particularly liked, I think it was the last paragraph or second last paragraph, so check that one out. And this one's not a blog so much, but our friend Dan Arell talking about using your tax dollars to teach creationism in schools, which is obviously something we don't want, so I highly recommend you giving that a read as well. Okay, time for laughs. We all love a good laugh on Twitter. This first one from Lovely Rita, 1967. Guy at Starbucks is telling his friend how great the Bible is, repeating in my head, this is not Twitter, this is not Twitter. I'm sure we all go through that moment in real life. Very funny. Neil deGrasse Tyson tweeted that evidence humans are smarter than cats. We don't chase dots around on the floor made by lasers. And Godfrey World replies, neither do slugs, which is quite funny. I really like that one. And the last one here sent to me by Luke Johns, picture of how creationists depict the creation-evolution debate, and by saying, I have this book, but I have this book, Origin of the Species and the Bibles, and meanwhile, in reality, and scientists working there, and yeah, obviously the creationists off to the side, really not being considered, which is how it is in real life. And creationism really doesn't get a look in the world of science because it is not science and therefore should not be even considered. Okay, thank you. A big thank you goes out to Candice, who's non-prophetess, Dave and Amanda, and all the group from Prophetcast who had me on during the week. I had an absolute ball being on their show with them. I thought it was run very well and really enjoyed my time being on there, and I hope you all had a watch of that and liked what you saw. So thank you guys for having me on, and I hope to be on again someday in the future. I had a great time. Thanks. Now, Tweet of the Week, I know I'm picking one of the, what would call a poster boy of the atheism movement in modern times in Richard Dawkins, but it's far more the content of the tweet here than the actual person saying it. Confused by evolution is only a theory. Try this. Evolution is a fact. Darwinian natural selection is a theory of what drives evolution. It's obviously something that we're all so familiar with coming up on Twitter, and I tweeted during the week how the word theory really confuses the subject. Obviously, it means something different outside the scientific world than it does inside the scientific world. So I thought this was a great tweet to clear it up and at least, let people have a bit of an idea of what's going on. And yeah, I like that he says that evolution is a fact, and it is, and we know it is. And let's say that it's the natural selection is the theory of what drives evolution. So if we can get that message out to people, I think we'll all be better off for it. Okay, that ends this week's review of Twitter. You can find me at MrOzAtheist on Twitter. My blog is MrOzAtheist.blogspot.com. I'm on YouTube, MrOzAtheist Video, and you can find me on Google Plus as Donovan MrOzAtheist. Thanks for watching. Twitter. 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 Oh, fuck it. Twitter.